Hello, and welcome to Scuttlebutt, the War Movie Review Podcast. We're happy to have you with us as we take a look at films from the dawn of cinema to today. We aim to provide a raw and unapologetic review of each film's cinematography, historical accuracy, and delivery. In the process of analysis, certain details will be revealed. These spoilers are only divulged to ensure a fair assessment of each film. We head back to the Hindu Kush this week with Guy Ritchie's 2023 Afghan war epic, The Covenant. As always, I'm joined by Mike A.
Hello.
Mike B.
Yep.
And Nate.
Sorry. That was him.
Sorry. Chicken fries, go.
So what'd you guys think?
I actually had something funny to say. I actually legitimately choked on ghost chili or ghost pepper chicken fries. So
Seems like a you problem.
well, the problem is the people listening while I'm eating. So there's that. Yeah.
Oh, dude.
Okay. All right.
Triggering my misophonia.
That was like in my brain. That was
Oh, yeah.
disturbing on so
Yeah.
many levels.
A little ASMR going on
I
here.
was gonna say, are you still doing the videos from today? Doing ASMR?
Yeah. Yeah, with the Hakeem and everything.
Yeah. Fuck you. Anyway, I guess I'll lead off since I'm
Yes.
slightly eating.
Liquid death.
So
Waiting on you.
yeah, I know. So this is hard, dude, because I like Guy Ritchie films a lot, like a lot. I really like Guy Ritchie films, and I see a lot of his style and his taste and everything in this. But man, if there's one thing Englishmen don't get wrong every single time, it's fucking combat. And I oh man, that it was really, really disheartening for some of the parts of this movie, and I really wanted to like it considering the subject matter. It's something I feel very strongly about our pullout of Afghanistan, and it's like, fucking sucks. And I really like, I would have to say, just going into my paragraph intro, which is now longer than a paragraph, and Brian's gonna kill me, is I think it's about 50% really well done and 50% really shitty. That's how I feel about it. And but it's not like shitty as in the sense of like I hate it and don't watch it. It's just doesn't hold up to the same caliber of what we've seen in the past, specifically from Guy Ritchie. So, that kind of sucks. But I mean, I need to look at some information. But yeah, it's the stuff I liked, I really liked, and the stuff I didn't like, I really didn't like. So that's what I got for this one. Mike A, I'm curious.
I didn't hate it. I didn't hate it at all.
I don't hate it. I just am
yeah.
disappointed by aspects of it. So
I don't know. Yeah, it's like Guy Ritchie, so I kind of like knew. I was like, okay, it's gonna be like a thriller. It's like your typical kind of thriller. Mixed in with a war movie. So, I thought it was well done. I thought it was well done. I didn't read anything about this. I didn't see it obviously before this. So I don't know. I was kind of curious as to where it was going in the first half hour, even like an hour in. It was like kind of still challenged, like, okay, this is going in directions I wasn't expecting. I thought it was interesting about 30 minutes in. I'm like, is this based on anything that is this based on an actual story? It's not. So for an original story, I thought it was pretty interesting. Well done. I love Jake Gyllenhaal as an actor. I think he's awesome. So I thought he was perfect for this role. Jake Gyllenhaal is great at playing weirdos and playing people who are like on the verge of breaking. On like going nuts. And it's like this is his kind of role. And so yeah, I thought it was well done in many ways. I don't think it was the greatest thing ever, but it's okay. It's not bad. Can't really comment on the combat and all that. I mean, there are parts where they're like while I was watching it, there were times where I was like, okay, we're getting to that trope where it's like the million of disposable enemies are all missing every time, and then they hit hit home every time they fire. There was a little bit of that, but other than that, I thought it was pretty interesting. Brian.
It tries to do too much and it fails at both things it tries to do. I really am surprised, like Nate said, that this is a Guy Ritchie movie. Like, this is the guy that made Snatch and Lock, Stock, Smoking Barrels, like 2 of my favorite films of all time. And then he does this. It's I don't know. It's well cast, but it's just not well executed, in my opinion. And we'll get into it and stuff. But no, it's like, I don't know. It was a hard watch, and it just I really wanted, and there really needs to be a good story about the interpreters and everything like that. You know, what happened to these guys and how much they gave and how much they got shafted at the end of the day. And it's just sad that, you know, there's not a good movie about that yet. This just feels rushed and I don't know. There's some things I like about it, but I don't know. It feels like a watered down Lone Survivor. And then they're like, by the way, let's put on fucking this part. So that's kind of what I feel.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't hate it either. It was once I figured out where it was going, I was like, okay, it's just going to be like an action kind of suspense movie, and like Mike said, it just takes place in a war. The message is, I like the message. It's I feel very strongly about it as well. But like, I don't know, it wasn't good. It wasn't bad. It was entertaining. It kept my attention. It was not really super realistic.
That's my problem with.
It wasn't really. I mean, again, but I for this one, I just kind of was able to just suspend the disbelief and just be like, okay, whatever, it is what it is. Like, we'll go into little details that I had issues with. That just, I mean, it's not just this film. It's tropes. It's the same shit you see repeatedly in many war movies from all eras. It doesn't matter which one. It's just all the same shit. It's just it's become just like fucking, I expect it now, and then I'm proven pleasantly otherwise if it doesn't follow those tropes to a T like this one did. But overall, like I said, it's entertaining, and it brings attention to an issue that I personally dealt with after we pulled out of Iraq with the interpreters. So that I really did appreciate that it told their story a little bit. And you know, how they actually were more than just translators. Like, they made that very clear in the film. Like, they actually would help out and say, yeah, something's not adding up here that we didn't see. But anyway, that was really cool that they put that into there. But I don't know, the gear, of course, it's going to be special forces. It's not just going to be a conventional unit. Of course, you know, it's all that's another trope and everything like that. And whatever, it wasn't awful, but again, I knew what to expect about 20 minutes in. It's like, okay, this is what it's going to be. So
I'll just jump into it with this, and I'll ask Mike, what the fuck was Jake Gyllenhaal? Like, if we're going to follow his storyline of like whatever happens to him in the film, is he reservist? Did he get out? Like, it's very strange.
He probably got medical.
I think they just breezed over the fact he got medically discharged.
Yeah, but it was just 4 weeks is a very short period of time to
they said 4 months, right?
I thought it was 4 weeks.
4 weeks.
4 weeks?
Yeah.
4 weeks till he's in the hospital, then 3 weeks till he's home.
And like that seems...
I thought it said months.
No. 4 weeks, 3 weeks.
Yeah, I remember seeing weeks.
So it was like a month and a half, maybe
it
2.
It was such a short period of time, and it's like, what? No, this is very long.
I can double
you know?
check, but I'm pretty damn sure it was.
Please double check, because if it's weeks, then I have a really big problem. Maybe my brain just wanted to see months, because that makes more sense.
Months makes sense, too. but I decided at the time, and I'm just like, what is? Like I said, he's like as a reservist that's got a super duper MOS where he can like go to Afghanistan, and then like, I'm now home at the car place. Like, it did not make any sense to me.
No, he wasn't a reservist. He was JTAC. He's a fucking Joint Terminal Attack Controller. So he's basically a combat controller in the Army.
Yeah. You're going to retain those guys as much as you possibly fucking
Yeah, they're going to be active duty as well.
Yeah.
Like,
so they're not going
to be reservists.
Like, he just seemed to breeze through. And it's just like, what are you doing? You know? And then it's also based before the fall of Afghanistan, because there's still PMCs in country. So
it's 2018, yeah.
Yeah, so it's all in that late time period.
I think I would have appreciated maybe maybe some of this would have been a little bit more believable if they did something with the story, because they say at the end, like, a 20-year campaign or something like that. Like,
Yeah.
maybe this would have been more interesting if they stretched this out to be like a period of over years or something. Like this happened way back in the day, and then later on in his life, once he's out of the
Like
military,
2011, and he's doing it like 2019 or something.
Yeah,
like that,
something
which I
like
guess
that,
they
like-
did in 2018. But,
right? I think it would be more interesting if it was kind of stretched out to a long period of time. Nate.
By the way, I did confirm it's 4 weeks then 3 weeks.
Yeah, I'm calling complete. Dude, if you got shot in the fucking in the forearm and the leg, and you were that dehydrated and that beat up, and you had a TBI from the fucking multiple head wounds you sustained, yeah, 4 months is even a very, very short time for recovery. One of my guys I went to high school with, he was a recon Marine, and he got shot through the leg, and it took him like, I don't know, 3 months to be able to walk again, like normally. Kind of normally, 3 months, and then he had to go through a shitload of physical therapy and shit, and he ended up getting medicaled out because he couldn't, it took most of his muscle out of his leg. But it took him a long time to recover just to be able to walk, much less be back on active duty or be out. And then it took him a long time to get medicaled too. He sat at 29 Palms for fucking 6 months while they were doing his paperwork, and he just was sitting there rotting. So yeah, 4 weeks, bullshit. 3 weeks after that, bullshit.
It's the U.S. government. Yeah. Everything takes fucking forever,
Well,
that's what I'm saying.
Well,
it would have been cool if it was spread out over like 2 decades or something.
I will say, and I guess I'll jump into it now in this sense. I did really, something that I'll jump into it this way. Guy Richie films normally do not suffer from bad dialogue or bad character interaction.
Right.
This film, excuse me, this film does a really good job with character interactions and dialogue. It is something that Snatch does very well. It is something that Lock, Stock, and Barrel does very well. It's very much even his other films, and even King Arthur, if you've ever seen that movie. That movie's a diabolical, weird piece of shit, but it has good interactions. And I think this is something that this movie really does stand out in that sense. The dialogue is kind of far-fetched in the sense of like military banter, what people guess is military banter again, but it's not terrible. And I think it's funny and humorous enough to consider to not be so jarring with some of the stuff. And I really love the character development and the stuff between our main character and the interpreter. I really like the way this was done. The other thing that Guy Richie does very well is showing lapse of time, summarization of shots, and although it's not new anymore because he does the same fucking shots every movie, but I really still love the way he reinvents the way he does those things. There's wonderful shots in this movie, mainly through the summarization of time and the whole the montages of time passing and remembering. He's always done really well with that. And I think that really shows in this movie. Unfortunately, the thing that really suffers in this movie, to me, is the combat. 110%. It brings it down so much. And not in the sense of like being unrealistic yes, but unrealistic in a sense. It's just, it seems very cheap. I felt like I was watching Hyena Road.
Yeah, the digital like stuff. Yeah.
When you compare it to the quality of the rest of the film and the caliber of the rest of the film, the combat sequences and what the combat sequences do to forward the plot are very lazy and very cheap. And I think that's what really pulled me out of this whole film entirely. But anyway, Brian, go ahead.
I wanted to talk about the dialogue, but while we're here, I wanted to jump onto what you're saying. So this is an interesting movie, and for one reason alone. This started production during Rust, and the whole Rust problem, right? And they banned guns on set, and they only used airsoft guns.
Oh, that makes sense.
And
for
it
all
shows.
these digital muzzle
And
cameras.
Guy Richie came out and saying, I don't understand why Hollywood used guns for so long. They were always too dangerous, and I hated having them on set.
Okay.
And it shows. It fucking shows. Like
Yep.
completely, it shows. The only combat sequence I like was when they go to the IED factory and like they kill those 3 guys like instantly. It's like, okay, wow, you shoot and people die. Like at least that was nice. There's not like mags dumping left and right. But other than that, you could tell that everything was added in post. Like, it's all, you got to think about how that was filmed. It's completely quiet and they're like choreographing guys dying and choreographing go to certain places with no noise, with no shot, with no nothing. It's like, yeah, obviously it's going to be like shit because you're missing. It's like having a fucking play without an orchestra. What are you doing? It's you're missing a key element of the whole pacing and the fighting and whatever. So yeah, it really shows, and it's unfortunate. And I hate that he's bragging about it because it's like, dude, you made a subpar film.
No, it makes it shit, dude. Yeah.
It makes
Yeah.
it subpar. It
Yeah.
really does. I totally forgot about that. Thank you, Brian. That totally makes sense.
Put some context to it.
Even IMFTB doesn't mention it, but they're all airsoft guns. They're all gas blowback.
Yeah.
Yeah, you are 100% right, and that explains so much.
Yeah.
That explains so much.
Yep.
The way it was filmed and how it was filmed and why I'm like, why are you filming so wide? Why are you when your whole film style is up close and personal? Like, why are you so wide?
And
it's because he has to.
They shot it in Spain, and it's mostly European crew. So we know how European films are with firearms to begin with. And now you just add fake guns on top of that. It just, you're trying to film this hardcore movie about the war in Afghanistan and like tit and tat fighting and shit. And like you're using fake firearms that like it doesn't work.
And a stunt crew having to fill in those gaps because they have to coordinate like that. And that explains the last comment I just did as well.
Yeah.
That totally explains it.
Even though what you just said there, I actually did want to bring that up. Like, even though this is an R-rated movie, like it did seem to me that there was not a lot of brutality in this when it came to like the war and shit like that. I mean, we didn't see any real like grotesque, combat and we also didn't see any like we saw like the aftermath of someone being tortured on video or at one point, but we didn't see any like crazy civilian like massacre kind of stuff or anything like that. Go ahead.
No, you go ahead. I thought you were done.
I am done.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say I agree with you in that sense because I was wondering why this got an R rated, and it's just probably because of how many
Language.
F-bombs are in it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is fine. I mean, I don't need everything to be pushed to the wall of brutality and whatever in a war film, but it felt very PG-13 like for the States.
It would have been
rating.
It would have been if they didn't have any if they didn't have any F-bombs in it.
Yeah. It really, okay, I'm still digesting what Brian said. That absolutely makes so much fucking sense now. Oh my God. I forgot he was one of the forefront runners of that going, I don't need real firearms in my films. And I was laughing going, have you seen your fucking films?
Yeah, you might not
Dude,
agree,
the Bren in Lock, Stock, and Smoking Barrel. Like,
that chick is
The
actually
Desert
shooting
Eagle
it. Yeah.
.50 in Snatch, and your whole focus is
The
on
Russian.
guns and stuff. The Russian, the best. By the way, if anyone's not seen that fucking film, you really
stop listening
should.
to this and watch it right now.
The best fucking scene is him getting out of the car. I'm not going to ruin anything more about that. Anyway, I fucking love that movie. But like, whether the director, what Guy Ritchie's view on politics and guns and all that kind of stuff, I don't give a fuck. The quality of the work suffers.
Yeah.
And it really does suffer from it because it felt like he kind of used it as like, to me now knowing this, it feels like, well, we can do just as well without them. No, you really fucking can't. If you're going to hit that kind of level of stuff, you can absolutely do that with another Lock, Stock, and Barrel copy. Absolutely. But not with a fucking Afghan war stuck behind enemy lines type of scenario. There's no fucking way that works. I'm sorry. It really does suffer from it. But Jake Gyllenhaal is fucking awesome in it, so I'll just say that.
This movie is it's carried by its cast.
Dude, I fucking love the drunk scene in this movie though, where he's
Yeah.
like, "You fucking open me on all." It's great. It felt very Nightcrawler.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Jake Gyllenhaal is great when he is like playing people who are just, on the brink of just insanity, like
unhinged,
that,
I'd say.
Yeah, just unhinged, yeah.
Have Brian or Mike B, have you guys seen Nightcrawler?
I actually haven't. I know about it though.
It's very interesting. It's very
It's
interesting.
odd.
It's
odd.
a very
a very-
interesting movie.
It's a very odd Jake Gyllenhaal movie.
But that's the thing. That's where because like when he's first started off, they were trying to kind of put him in like pretty boy roles, and then eventually it's like, no, he's great at playing weirdos.
Donnie
playing,
Darko.
like, yeah, and playing people who are just like pissed the fuck out. Like Prisoners is another one where he's that kind of character. You know, I think he started to do that when he did Jarhead. That was kind of when it was like his break from that kind of pretty boy type thing, you know. But yeah, he's good in this. Like he's good in most things, you know. I think it's hilarious seeing him in early parts in there. Like, what was that fucking like Sands of Time movie or something that he was in? It was like some weird fantasy thing. It was like he's not a Jon Snow type people. No, we can't do this.
He was on that Wing show, First We Feast, not too long ago. And it's a pretty good
Hot
show.
Ones?
Yeah, Hot Ones. Yeah, it was a pretty good interview. And he talked a bit about this film, and he said that he's never had an experience like this before because there wasn't like any shooting list or whatever. Like every day they decided what to shoot. And I remember hearing that, like, what the fuck? Like you just woke up and say, yeah, let's go, you know, do this today or that today. And it kind of shows in the movie because like I feel like some things are disjointed from other days that they were shooting, and it's just like it's more like an experiment. We're not going to use guns, and we're just going to do it like we want to do it. And it's like, well, that's going to show because chaos behind the camera it shows up in front of the camera more than you'd expect. So,
I can't remember. I looked up the guy's name. I don't remember his real name, but the guy who played the interpreter, I thought was fantastic. And it's the only reason why this movie holds up, because Jake Gyllenhaal's on a cart for a quarter of it,
For a part of it,
you know, yeah. And so like, I've seen him in other things, really, really good, really, really good.
Oh yeah, fantastic,
really good. And I hope he's in more stuff.
Yeah, he was great. They were both great together. Like they were great as, you know, as a duo in this.
Yeah. Yeah, the thing is that with Guy Richie, and I'll stop like going off about Guy Richie in one sec, but like those montage scenes, and I'm going to say it one more time, were really good in this film, and I really liked he always has done slow motion and Dutch angles and stuff like that, but I don't know, man, just was really good. And then like I said before, and it's like you go to the next level of the whole combat stuff going back and forth, and it's like the caliber does not match the rest of the film. It's like you have these really awesome fucking shots and feeling and emotion and everything with that. And then it's, you know, just like dust cloud CGI number 25 on action essentials.
Action Essentials, yeah.
Yeah, it's like
By
it's
Andrew
just
Kramer.
rough. Go ahead, Brian.
question. I'm pretty sure I'm right in this assessment, but towards the end of the film, we're at that dam and everything, and it's amazing how nice infrastructure they have in Afghanistan for a country that's, you know, been at war for 50 years. But there's the cobra that flies through, and I'm pretty sure that's not a real cobra.
No, that was CG. I spotted it right when I saw
not
it.
a good CG either. Yeah.
It's bad. That was the last thing I wanted to go into, but we can launch into that now. AC-130, horrible CG. Cobra,
10 feet off the ground?
horrible CG. Yeah.
They're like digital plugins from a program.
Yeah.
That they like
Just
bought
Modern
off a
Warfare
website.
2.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's just
I keep the burp. Yes.
that's Mike's thoughts on it.
Yeah, exactly.
yeah. I'll keep that in there. I mean, just so people know, Mike just burps randomly and straight into the mic, and his goal is to see if he can keep it in. And I for most part, I keep some of them in. If it's like dead air or like Paul's talking, I cut them out. But it's like,
Sure, he appreciates that.
I'll keep that one in there. Yeah, but like
it was a little wet.
It was a little wet. Yeah, it was so bad. I hated that whole entire scene.
Yeah,
I hated that whole entire scene. The only real thing was a Toyota Tacoma as a fucking Taliban speedrunner. Like, that's the only thing real in that whole entire sequence.
They fucked that up though because there wasn't a fucking Dishka bending the frame to its fucking limits.
Yeah,
welded on to the fucking bed of the truck, moving at every fucking Yeah.
Yeah,
Is it
yeah,
actually?
yeah.
They got that wrong. I got that part wrong.
They
I
got
guess there's a
that
budget
wrong,
thing.
yeah.
They don't have any fake
They
dish
need a
kits,
guy
they don't
like
get air stuff.
refueling it with gasoline coming out of like a windshield washer like bottle, you know, like crazy
Well, and they also need to have it running on fucking 2 out of 4 cylinders. It's not realistic if it's running on all 4.
Is that a
All
Honda? No, it's broken.
All I'm gonna say though, if you're gonna have Homelander come rescue you, why isn't he in uniform? I mean, come on. I mean, like, just like you could at least done something there. I don't know if Mike's seen The Boys because he didn't react, so I don't know.
I'm not a cinephile, so I don't.
That's
sit
not
there
really
and
a
watch movies for
cinephile.
living.
It's not a cinephile.
That's
It's
a shitty
like,
Amazon show.
It's a fucking guilty pleasure. Yeah.
I know a lot of people who like The Boys. I have never seen it myself, but yeah. Well, dude, like that's where. So like throughout this movie, I was just like, please don't fall into tropes that I'm like, you know, mind detecting for them as I'm watching the movie. I'm like, because yeah, I mean, when I'm watching it, we get to the point where they're being tracked down, and it's like Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. You know, like they're running, and they're like trying not, you know, to be tracked and all that stuff.
You just jazzed my brain. Go on. No, sorry. Go.
Okay.
I have a rant to go on.
You're talking about mine detecting? The fucking mine's on the top of the fucking ground. You can see them all. In this film, you can see all the tropes a mile away. It's like, oh, there's a fucking minefield.
I don't need a detector with this movie. Yeah,
There's
but
a bunch of anti-tank mines just sitting on top of the fucking dirt.
right,
You
but
need
I'm
an
just like,
interpreter. That's what you need.
but like I'm always thinking like, you know, 10, 20, 30 minutes ahead. I'm like, okay, what is going to happen at this point? And I was just like, once they're being tracked down by these guys, and it keeps cutting back to the commander of this faction or something like that, and he's like, go get them. I want them alive. He says it like, I want them alive. And when he said I want them alive, I'm like, oh my God, please don't have this be one of those movies where they end up tied to chairs sitting in front of the villain while he gives them a speech. Like,
I thought it was going there.
I
really
did too. That's where I was like, oh my God, please don't have it be. If it does, I'm going to hate this thing.
I hope you like
Yeah.
your balls, American, because you
Right, yeah,
so
I'm like,
won't
it's
have
like
them
Casino
again.
Royale, Afghanistan.
Yeah,
edition.
and Jake Gyllenhaal and the interpreter are just, you know, like, fuck you, asshole, you know, and stuff like that. And thankfully it didn't go that route, but it came close. So Brian was gonna say something.
Hit him, Endo.
Well, I was going to say but also, you know, apparently, you know, like all the baddies, they have flags of their faction everywhere. So I guess I belong to the Viet Cong. If going by that trope.
Yeah, what the hell?
All the white flags, you know.
It just, Mike reminded me of a thing I wanted to go on.
Okay.
And I'm going to use a very common phrase here, only on this podcast. Why in the chicken fried fuck?
Whole chicken fried fuck.
Whole chicken fried fuck. Would you stop moving knowing that behind you? Those guys would continue to move. Unless you're, like, going to fall over exhausted, you find a place to go hide in. Not fucking be in the middle of the open on top of a fucking hill. If you can go, you go. And that is the doctrine. You keep moving until you fucking cannot.
Well, it was
move
also
ever
getting to be
again.
nighttime, and they didn't have any night vision devices. It's not really wise to move at night in unfamiliar terrain at night.
At the
Like,
same point, though, then they wake up and they're like, they're 2 minutes behind us. You ready to go?
well, they should have been up before as the sun was coming up, when you can see 3 feet in front of you. Then you start moving. We don't wait until it's light out. I give you that.
One thing that was annoying, and I actually want to ask you this, Birch, to confirm, but he has a TAC radio on him. Like, they have a range of, I'm pretty sure, most a mile. Like, why wouldn't he be keying the fucking shit out of that thing when he knows a QRF is arriving? Like, yes, he's being chased, but like, your birds are in the air. They're going to be looking for you. Like, there's some.
But that got all fucked up. Like, QRF was going to the mine.
True,
it
but
wasn't going.
But they were so close in the. I mean, yeah, it's Afghanistan and but like, you have a radio, you have some way of communication, and they know that you have a certain frequency you'll be on. Why are you not doing that? Why are you not communicating?
He was probably more than a mile away, and he didn't know when they were going to be there, so he kept moving.
You probably can hear the helicopters.
That's just my guess.
I hear you, but it's just like you have your best way to communicate with somebody on your fucking chest. Like, unless they get hit or anything, like, that's still.
They tried when they were rolling, though. They tried, and nothing came through.
Oh, they
said we're out of range. Yeah, they tried. Ahmed tried in the truck.
I do remember that. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
He was calling them, and he was like, "We're out of range." Fuck.
But still, like, you know, they're going to be searching. Like, you know, it's just think about what happened when Bo Bergdahl, if I'm getting that right, when he went, you know, missing. They had a huge search for fucking a month or two. You know, guys looking everywhere. It's like,
Yeah, guys, a lot of guys get killed looking for him.
yeah, fucking A. But like, it just, you have a means of some form of communication, and while it might not work at this moment, like 2 hours, like something, like come on, you know, it's just
In real life, QRF, they would have probably, it would have been a big, it would have been a fucking big to do. It would have been, okay, you've got 2 guys missing, because they said that, you know, his entire fucking team gets wiped out. Which, to the credit of a film, they showed that fucking even the baddies are not invincible. I did appreciate that. Like, all of his whole fucking team of these really elite guys, these operators, get fucking mowed down in a gunfight, and then he's left out there. It was cool because usually it turns out like the rest of the movie where it's just the U.S. just gunning everybody down. They might take a casualty. Oh, somebody's hit. Tourniquet that bitch off and stay in the fight. You know, just badass. Okay, so what I think would have happened, from what I understand, is 2 guys are missing. They can't have gone that far. You've got birds in the air. You've also got these really cool things on your uniform called IR glint strips, or you have a fucking panel that you have. And even if they go, okay, well, he's probably a mile away, you're in the fucking air. You can see this shit, and like you said, he would have probably heard the birds, right? And they would have scrambled some shit, because the last thing you want is to have guys captured. That's the last fucking thing you want. If you recover the bodies, it's game over, it sucks, but it's actually better than having them captured. So they would have had a big shindig going on. QRF would have been like, fuck, these 2 guys are missing. We're going to go and try to find them. We'll set up a perimeter, all that shit. And then the birds would have been out there, and they would have probably been recovered fairly quickly. But then the movie couldn't have gone on for another hour and a half. So
exactly. I mean, if they had just had his radio get damaged in the fight or something like that, at least cut off that whole means. But like you said, you have this whole organization that their job is to look for people when they go missing. So yeah,
and it like fucking 20, 30 tallies with fucking shitty Toyotas. Pretty easy for a gunship to take out. Not that hard. And then send QRF in behind, go, oh, well, here's a truck that, you know, doesn't look like it was hit by us, so maybe they're over here. You know, something like that. And then, hey, set up a fucking area, set up a search around here. Yeah. Realistically, I think if it showed how the U.S. or the coalition forces work, they should have been picked up within about an hour or 2. They should have been rescued. And that's that. That's my opinion on the whole matter.
Yeah, I mean, just if you look at Red Wings, like they're, you know, obviously went horrible, but there was a fucking Chinook on the way within an hour, you know. And
oh yeah,
it like,
you don't fuck around with guys missing.
No.
You don't fuck around with that. Like that's
this is a broken arrow like situation. It's just like, or like Vietnam prairie fire. Like everything's showing up. It might take some time, but it's coming, and it's not leaving until bodies or something.
Everybody who's available is on that fucking point.
Yeah.
Because yeah, and like that's the thing too, is like I said, you've got IR glint tapes in your uniform. You've got, actually they issued us, like we were just grunts, and they issued us this IR strobe thing
on your helmet
that we carried. No. We put it in a pouch or in a pocket or something.
Yeah.
But like if you're going out and doing shit, at least one guy would have it with him, at least. And that way, if you hear birds, it strobes.
And they're bright.
IR.
You see them fucking in IR and shit.
Yeah, through the goggles.
You see it for a ways.
It's bright. Yeah, it's like a fucking laser basically. Yep. And it's like, okay, there they are. You know, and then you go and pick them up. You don't have to have a fucking radio. You've got really easy technology. Everybody's got it. Pogues have it. Operators have it. It's all the same thing. It's there for a reason. It's there for this reason. And they didn't show that at all. So But then again, like I said, the movie would have been 45 minutes then.
Well, it's like 1917 in a way. You know, like, well, we're going to ignore right column. And we're going to go into left column. You know, like, what the fuck?
So you gotta.
Yeah, just fucking stupid.
It's again. I said this when we did 1917. It's the classic, thing of someone coming up with an idea, but then not following through on the actual logistics of how it would go down. You know, coming up with an idea. Oh, this is how I want this to be. It's like, well, but not knowing and not following through on how it actually would happen. So they can have their idea.
Oh God.
Well said, Mike.
that was like on the verge of burp, dude.
Yeah.
That was a verb.
That was
It
horrible.
was a light verb. It was not bad.
I lost
Get
my
some
train of
hitchhikers
thought.
of that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, wasn't the best. Wasn't the worst.
The one thing I was gonna
burp
say
later
was-
right next to my ear.
Jimmy Ryan.
Guy Richie. Oh,
No, Guy Richie.
oh yeah. He's at a bridge.
give me something to write on. Give me something to write on.
The AC-130, I have to get this out, otherwise I'm gonna fucking lose it again. The AC-130, I thought the shot and showing them like just obliterating those guys on that fucking ridge and everything, that was cool. The concept of that was cool. You could have shown it in the air, and I would have been like set with that. Why did you zoom out and make it look like it's 14 feet up in the air? Like, that thing is orbital in terms of the shot placement. Not really, but the shot placement, that thing's orbital. You can't fucking see it. Why does it need to be like that? And it's like, oh, you just need to make sure they know where it is. It's like, oh my god. And the Cobra going through the fucking, like, road to knock that out. It's just like, my god.
The Green Berets gets gunships more accurate than this movie.
It's funny though.
That was made 53 years ago.
It's funny though that both the Green Berets and this movie use both of those things for some nice military porn.
Oh yeah,
that's all I see when I see that stuff. It's just like, it's like, okay, this has gone on long enough to where they're just showing off.
Yeah,
know?
it'll only take a minute.
Right.
Those Spectre gunships, though,
Mhm.
if you got one of those flying overhead, you done fucked up, and you're not going to be here much longer.
Well,
Like you're done.
according to Call of Duty logic, he got 40 kills, so he was able to access the Spectre. You know. So.
There you go. Prestige. Yep. Fucking yeah, but that was cool that they had the 40 millimeter going. Just fucking like, all right, we're gonna open up with the 105, and then you just see fireballs, which is fucking retarded. I hate that shit. I fucking
CGI
That is
fireballs.
not what
But it
looks
was in
like,
black
man.
and white, Mike. You can't complain. I mean, it's a white.
No.
It's just
When
the
they showed the
particles in
hillside,
black
It's
and
like-
white. Oh, I know. Yeah.
no, yeah, it's fucking. I fucking, and then like when the grenade goes, I know he put it on the fuel tank, or I think right.
Yeah.
Also, the spoon
He
was
did,
still
yeah.
on. What a
That
shitty prop
spring
that
would
was.
totally fucking because he pulled the
Yeah.
pin.
Yeah.
It would totally
Dude,
charge. Like
I
there's so much pressure behind that.
I rolled my eyes at that part, but I was like, at least, because I thought he was just gonna block the truck and then they're gonna run. I was like, that's not gonna hold them back for like more than 5 seconds. And then when he did put the grenade on, I was like, okay, that makes sense. Set the whole thing on fire, just let it go. You know.
I thought he was going to booby trap it. I thought he was gonna pull the pin with the spoon under the tire, so when they moved the
Yeah.
truck, it was gonna blow up on them.
Well, when
More
the
believable.
spoon didn't come off, I'm like, did he place it in a certain way where if they move it, it's gonna do that? Like you said.
That's what I thought.
No.
Yeah, but no, he just
Check this out.
Yeah.
Bye, Mike.
One Mississippi, two
All of a sudden-
Mississippi.
All of a sudden, Mike's camera just goes out.
That's the way it works, though. Like, and they also grenades do smoke. Like the
Right.
smoke comes out of where the fucking primer gets hit.
Yeah, his can is used.
That was fucking cool. I hope the mic picked that up. That was cool.
That's,
Yeah, I mean that.
you pull the pin, let the spoon fly, and right, Mark II fragment boom.
yeah,
Man, I wish you were recording video of that so you could do like an edit where he's like, "See, it's just like that." Then all of a sudden, his camera just goes out.
Right, just goes out. Yeah,
To
just
prove
fuzz.
a point, Mike
just
Mike
fuzzy.
blew himself up.
Just like that
Yeah.
sniper in the fucking mine.
Yeah.
God.
Oh my god.
God, yeah.
Dude, also, okay, with that, I know what they were. I fucking, you're right. Limeys should not be in charge of anything combat related on film.
Like,
The last time,
Unless
the
they
last
went
time,
to war. Unless they went to war. Because there are guys that are limeys that went to Afghanistan or Falklands.
Yes.
yeah, but they don't have enough money to become a fucking director and suck at making shit like that.
But
I mean,
like,
the last time any Americans should have given a fuck about what a limey thought about guns or anything else was July 3rd, 1776. That's my fucking opinion. I stand by it because this fucking you
Shout
see
out
the
to
results
Paul.
and the fruits that are happening. Oh yeah, hey Paul, love you, buddy.
Hey, Paul, I'll see you at the harbor. Down at the harbor, you know?
We're gonna go have like a cup of tea.
Yeah, at the harbor. Like, it's a really big cup of tea, you know?
But no, he really shit. You can tell when. And here's the thing too. To be fair, there are a shitload of American directors and writers that completely shit the bed with diarrhea on anything combat or gun related.
Oh yeah.
So, what?
Clint Eastwood.
Oh, gross. Sorry, I had a.
He was talking about PG. Paul Gross.
Oh yeah,
I heard that, Nate.
Yeah, thank you.
I wasn't listening.
Although he's Canadian.
I'm
What am I-
grossed out.
They shouldn't touch it either.
They're
They
kind
don't
of
even-
America.
yeah.
Oh, Canadians the worst. It's a combination of shitty America and shitty England that is all combined into one shitty fucking country.
As Devin said, every good Canadian eventually becomes a good American. So
Well, it's funny because years ago on my YouTube channel, I'd post a video of like an SKS or an SVT-40 or some shit, and I'd post prices and stuff. And Canadians like, you guys, you don't know what it's like. We can get a Soviet SKS for $200. And so I was like, yeah, how are you feeling now, fuck stick? You know.
yeah, I
I hope you got a whole fucking crate of them.
They got so many nice Soviet surplus, and they were so smug about it for so long. So
Yep.
fuck you.
So yeah, go fuck yourselves, you fucking Canucks.
I hope you like that limiter on your SKS now. So there you go.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you know.
Joke's
Brought to
on
you
you.
by Justin Trudeau.
Yeah.
Yep. But anyway, but yeah, I mean this fucking one of the tropes too that I'm so fucking sick of.
Metal is bulletproof.
Okay, thanks for reminding me of that one too. We'll get
A 1/4-inch plate of aluminum steel that just guards electrical housing on a dam.
Nathan, it's only
fucking
3.9. What are you talking
bulletproof.
about? 3.9.
a
doesn't
fucking
go through
car
anything.
door.
Yeah, car door.
So no,
Yeah.
the one thing that fucking drives me nuts, especially in like modern shit, it sometimes happens with older shit. Somebody's got an M4. I mean, I'm sorry, it's an M4A1 all the time, every time. And when they're going to, it shows it through the little ACOG, which is not the reticle that would have had. That's a different site. But anyway, it shows it through there and it goes a burst. It's like, hey, talk to the operators and talk to any fucking combat arms. Your selector rarely goes forward. I mean, you have to be really fucked for it to go forward. Now, it should have been pop down, pop down, pop down. A, ammo conservation. B, it's more controllable. You're going to hit your fucking target. You're not going to waste, 3 more rounds. And it's just like, that's in every fucking modern, like, everything, like, well, it's in everything. It sucks. It's one of those cookie cutter stamp tropes. It's like, okay, got this, we can proceed. It's like, Jesus Christ. And then, yeah, the fucking metal. Dude, a car door, a fucking 9mm will go through a car door. A 9mm out of a pistol will go through a fucking car door. So you're telling me that a 3.9, a 7.62 3.9 is not gonna because in that one scene where when they first get the trucks at the mine, they're driving away, and all of a sudden there's a bullet hole that appears directly where the passenger's sitting. I forgot if it was one of the other operators or if it was Ahmed. Right, fucking, it's like, dude, that would have gone through him, gone through his fucking ribs. He would have been toast. I mean, Dunsky. But no, and then they get, they take cover behind fucking, like, nothing. It's like, dude.
Literally metal that would, maybe a 22 would block it.
Dude,
maybe.
a fucking bow would go through that.
Yeah.
A fucking, like, compound bow, like an 80-pound compound bow will go through that.
It took me a second to realize what you were saying, but yeah. Yeah.
No, I'm serious.
No,
like,
I know.
Fucking go right through that door.
I'm agreeing with you. It's
fucking
ridiculous.
hate that shit. It's in everything.
Jake Gyllenhaal should have been it should have. I understand he needs for that scene. Let's say the damn scene in general. He needs to He needs to be able to see what he's firing at. I get it, and that thing is blocking him, so he'd want to hide behind it. But that thing would not stop anything. The cover that he would want would be the concrete little structure.
Even that
he
was
next to.
Even that, once they shoot it enough, it fucking compromises that shit really quick. And you're going to have a big fucking hole in there. There's going to be rounds bouncing around inside. Not a good place to be. And okay, I missed one thing, and then I'll stop rambling. Where I was going to talk about the sniper at the mine, right? Again, this relates to the metal thing. You're hiding behind a fucking 55-gallon drum, silhouetting the piss out of yourself on the top of a fucking hill when there's shrubbery and defilade right fucking next to you.
Yep.
I know why he did that, right? Because it looks cool. He's got his bipod, up facing forward. He's resting on this fucking piece of cover. It's like that thing would move, A. And B, easy fucking pickings, dude.
It's you're 100% right. And to me, that makes me think of that definitely is an example to me of what I call cheap combat filmmaking. in my head. It's what makes in my brain. That's what makes it stand out as like sci-fi quality combat, like sci-fi channel quality combat on a TV
There you go.
show. And there was a lot of that in this movie.
Exactly, and it's not.
It's not the actors' faults. It's not.
No.
It's nothing like
They actually-
that. It's just. It's like it's what they've been told. It's how they want the shot to be set up, and it's people who don't understand
Exactly.
basic fucking engagement and covering concealment and all that other shit. And there's sometimes they did it really well. That whole trench scene.
Yeah.
I actually jumped on that fucking shit where he's like, "Hey, Ahmed, I need you to wham," and then like that round, I jumped. That was awesome. I fucking loved that scene because I was like, he's gonna walk up on someone like he's been doing for 4 or 5, 6 times now, and it was just like that sound design was fucking awesome. It was just like wham, and I fucking jumped. I was like, holy shit, like
Yeah.
that's cool, you know, Brian.
I really, really like that. That was one of my favorite scenes. But it's quickly followed up by like fucking round impacts that make no sense for the geography and like where he is in the trench.
They're just
Like
hitting
it was, yeah. It just, it like this amazing, really good pull you out of the.
I was
scene.
like, where is he coming from? Because I can't see him.
No, it's like this amazing. It pulls you out of this like reality, like holy shit, and then momentarily followed by like, what is there like? Are they underneath him? Like what's going on? Like
You're
this,
mole people.
like this. You know, it's like that whole meme with like the chick and all the numbers. It's like what? I don't know. You know.
But then it's followed up
yeah.
by that really awesome cinematography when he gets hit in the head and he's taking punches and stuff.
Yeah.
I loved that. And
The
again, that's a Guy
concussion's
Richie.
great.
That's a Guy Richie. That's his expertise, and he does it so well. You know, but it's really funny though. Just I'm thinking about this real quick, and I don't mean to take it off of this film, but I just want to compare it to another film. I'm pretty sure. Did he do Sherlock Holmes 2?
He
Does
did.
anyone know?
Yeah.
He did 2?
I don't know about.
I think he did this.
I thought he did all of
series,
them.
but yeah.
I thought he did Sherlock Holmes. I didn't know if he did
Jamie.
Sherlock Holmes
Jamie.
2. Yes, he did do. Okay, so this further proves my point. This man says he can do it without guns and all that kind of stuff. That's really fucking funny coming from Sherlock Holmes 2. Fucking unbelievable cinematography with the concept of understanding firearms. So I know he knows firearms. He does slow motion, and Mike's laughing at me. What are you laughing
No,
at?
I'm not laughing at. I'm sorry. Because we were trying to figure this out. I just went to his filmography. For at the very bottom for TBA, it just says untitled action film.
Oh god.
The Covenant 2, Electric Boogaloo.
So has everyone? This might just hear me out. Has everyone seen Sherlock Holmes 2?
No,
No.
I didn't.
Brian, have you
any
seen
interest
Sherlock
in
Holmes
those
2?
stupid-
I think I've seen the first one, but I haven't seen the second one.
Okay. All right, I'm gonna have to explain this really quick. There's a really good slow motion shot, and all the slow motion is understanding mechanics and firearms and trajectories and bullets going through fucking trees in slow motion. I think he used even Gavin Free from the Slow Mo Guys on YouTube, if everyone knows that name.
Yep.
He used him for those slow mo cinematics. CG rounds going through trees, understanding that concept. So why in the fuck is there a thin ass plate blocking bullets? Like that's just what I don't understand. And that's where I think this whole stand on we don't really need firearms, we can do everything, you know, with airsofts and CG.
It's a crockery. Yeah.
It's a fallacy. You need to have someone who understands ballistics. You need to have an editor at least, or someone of that caliber to understand that, or someone who can at least give that advice to when that goes through. Because Ridley Scott just said, this is my date the pod, but it's like he just released like an article saying like everyone who's fact checking Napoleon get a life. Well, I'm sorry, like this is what we enjoy, so we're gonna nitpick the fuck out of your inaccuracies and all that shit. And I'm gonna nitpick the fuck out of directors who don't follow real life physics. Like that. I mean, Siege of Jadotville. I love Siege of Jadotville. I've talked about this hundreds of times at this point. but the hiding behind a single brick layer wall stopping 50 cows bothers me every single fucking time.
Yep.
And this bothers me the same way. It pulls me out of it. Now, do I need to see rounds going through every single thing imaginable? No. But build the scene to be realistic. Don't build physics to make the scene. And I know that's hard to do when you really want something, when something looks awesome. Like, I get it. I understand that. But at the same time, it's very frustrating to go through movies like this and be like, well, now I see that and I can't unsee it. Now I hate this fucking scene. But I like this scene. So it's like,
That's why that's why I said 20 minutes in I had to suspend my disbelief.
Yeah.
I had to, because I was like, I know exactly where this is going.
Yeah.
As soon as the first shot rang out, I was like, actually, no. When I had to do that was when they went to that fork in the road. Because I know why he did that. It's for the sake of the film. Yes, interpreters do that kind of shit. They say, something's not right, we shouldn't go down there. But he and his team, they said that was their 4th fucking combat deployment, right? They would fucking know that. An ANA guy telling you to go one way when you're like, no, we're going to go this way. Well, the rain washed that out. You would fucking know if the rain affected that area. That's your job. You have to know when you're at that level and you're doing that dangerous of an operation with that minimal amount of people and equipment, you will know all that shit. So yeah, sure, the interpreter sometimes might point something out that you miss, but that's a big thing. I mean, that's just as soon as the ANA guy said, we need to go this way, I'm like, no, don't go that way. That's an ambush. I mean, immediate, just bam, like that. And I wasn't anything more than a grunt. And it was beaten into our heads. Don't listen to them. Fucking A. Like, yeah. So that didn't make sense. And I was just like, all right, here's where this is going. Turn the switch, Brian.
Plot device.
At this point in the war, 2018, this is drone warfare. I mean, there's no way you guys are going to be going out there to do this thing without a predator on site, at least
Correct.
Observing or doing something. So it's just like fucking stupid. You're going to have the means to do it. And like you said, 4 years of being deployed. Yeah, don't trust the Smurfs and don't trust the ANA. On that same token, though, it was nice to see the Afghan National Police looked like Afghan National Police. The guys that were...
Their army.
Well, the
oh,
guys,
yeah.
You very briefly see them, but I was like, they looked really good. And then the actual ANA guys wearing the actual ANA camouflage, which was cool. But yeah, it's just retarded. Like, what are you doing? No, it's like they set the whole thing up like it was 2001 in a way, like the way they started.
Yeah, that's exactly what they fucking did.
2018, like, no, this is a different. This is the 3rd stage of the war by this point. And it's like,
we were there for 17 fucking years,
yeah.
And we were in Iraq for fucking 9. We had learned a couple things by that point. I'm just going to throw that out there.
Yeah.
We had learned if an ANA guy says, go this way, that probably means that there's an ambush and you should throw that guy into a fucking orange jumpsuit.
And a nice hot island in the Caribbean. Like
Just
fucking
bullshit. Yeah.
Why also was their Humvee not up armored? I know why. You don't have to tell me why, but it's like, really, you're like the only fucking Humvee that's off base in country without armor. Like, yeah.
Also, why are they using Humvees?
Oh, well, yeah, they could be using MRAPs. That's a good point. Or those other crazy things.
No, they use those little fucking dune buggy things if they're doing something like that usually.
Yeah, ATVs as well. You see, like, columns.
Yeah, exactly. UTVs, ATVs, like they use like small, fast, get you out of the situation just as fast as you got into it kind of things. 2 Humvees going through the fucking desert alone. One's got a 50 on it, and one's completely open. It's like, no. I mean, I'm sure it happened. I wasn't fucking there, but like, again, in 2018, lessons had been learned.
And you're the only one that can attest to this because I haven't touched them. I've only seen them. But can you realistically drive a Humvee 120 clicks without breaking down? I don't think so. From my friends' experiences and stuff.
No, those engines, especially in that heat, dude, and those things get fucking abused. And okay, especially the up armored ones. The regular Humvee that they had. 60 miles maybe, but that's a 120 round trip, so probably not. The up armored one, good luck. Because you know what they did? They never upgraded the engine for the up armored ones. They just put fucking 20 tons or 10 tons of armor on it, and then expected the engine to fucking perform the same.
Panther ideology, you know? It's like, oh, the running gear is
Yeah,
fine, but everything else is just more advanced. Don't worry about it. So
Yeah, we're just going to tack on a shitload of extra weight onto this engine, overwork it consistently, and then wonder why it's always in the fucking motor pool. Like, wow! I would give them something to do.
come on, American General, what the fuck? You should know in 1983 that, 40 years from
Well,
now.
and also when
IEDs are
you
gonna be a
drive
thing.
a Humvee, when you drive a fucking any kind of vehicle like combat arms, you're not. There's no feathering and like easing into an acceleration. It's on the floor, give it all it's got, and you fucking accelerate. There is none of that civilian driving shit. That also kills the fucking engine really quick. And if you're going out on something that it's basically a LERP mission, right? It's the equivalent of a LERP in modern days. You're not going to roll a fucking up-armored Humvee, much less a regular Humvee. They're pieces of shit. They're one of the worst fucking vehicles. We should have just stuck with a fucking Jeep, to be honest with you. I mean, I'm not shitting you. The Humvee, everybody that has never experienced one or had to deal with them loves them because they look cool, they're wide, they're fucking diesel. Oh God, they're so cool. They are gigantic, colossal hunks of shit.
That's
They're
me,
fucking
by the way. I'm
awful.
sorry.
Dude, dude. You know how many people I know who bought a fucking Humvee?
I really want one eventually, but but everyone I've ever said that, especially anyone who's ex-military, is like, why in the fuck would you want that?
The cushions are an inch.
What? Well, in the Up Armor ones, they had nice seats, but again, that adds extra weight. And it also, so in the Up Armor ones, what really sucks is a regular Humvee, you've got a little bit of space and your ass gets pounded. That's fine. You got a little Jeep cushion in there, not a big deal. But the Up Armor ones put this much fucking foam on the inside, right? And you get a nice, not a nice seat, but a decent seat that also raises you up. So your space is literally cut in by about 30%. And you have all your shit on. And you're trying, like, I did not fare well in the back seat of those fucking things. I had to sit there like this with my head down. And they're like, look out the window. And I'm like, okay. Because the front seat's right fucking here. And I'm like, all right, I don't know if I can see anything, even if we fucking whatever. It's like, I'm not going to do any good back here. So they're like, all right, just be the fucking gunner. And I'm like, oh, freedom. I can move, And one thing I did like though, okay, so at that fork scene, whoever their advisor was okay, and I'm sure he was limited by the director in this case because I did see a lot of things that indicated a decent military advisor. Okay?
So did I. I wanted, yeah, I agree with that.
So whenever they stopped, the Gibbs or the guys in back get out and they immediately secure perimeter. That's what you do. Whenever you stop moving, whether it's a huge convoy or something like that, everybody that's not the driver always stays with the vehicle. The driver never gets out. So anybody who's not supposed to stay in that vehicle gets the fuck out and creates a perimeter 360-degree security. And they actually did that, and it was like snap, 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 which is how it actually is. And I did appreciate that little detail because that's something that is not shown in a lot of... They just stop usually, and they'll just sit in there. But it's like, no. You got to get out, and they're all, they're sitting there scanning and shit. That's what you do. And that was pretty cool. But then the rest of that scene was complete dog shit when he beats the fuck out of that guy and then gets him to crack in like 2 minutes. Come on, give me a fucking break, man. So, Brian.
I will say this though. I mean, yes, the Humvee in modern times is really horrible because everything happened to it. But I would say the shining moment for the Humvee in its career was the Battle of Mogadishu. It was there when it needed to be there, and it did its job well, and they show that very well in Black Hawk Down. But in modern times, post the Cold War, post everything, it was obsolete by 95, 96. But if you're looking at its career, that's its shining moment. That's when it did what it needed to do in that critical situation. And there's probably guys that have stories from early invasion of Iraq and shit, like whatever. But just in my mind, it's like the vehicle did its job at that one occasion.
To go on a history tangent real quick, 'cause it's in my mind, and I'm just curious. Before the Humvee is what? The Jeep?
Oh, it was the late M38s. Yeah, because yeah,
but the
It
design.
was, no, it was the
of
Mutt.
them
It
is-
was
the Mutt. It was
The
the Mutt.
Mutt,
and then
the improved Jeep,
It was-
according to
it was the
yeah.
MB/GPW 41 to 45, and then the M38s came out after the war. I think 48, and they were used through Korea consecutively with the Jeeps. And then late 50s, early 60s, the Mutt comes out because it's like a Jeep that was made out of aluminum. It's one tub, and you could lift it easier. It's a very bare bones Jeep basically. And then the Mutt was retired because of the Humvee, which is like twice the size, and it can't drive down roads in Europe. And it was like going to be our vehicle. I think 83 is when they come out, if I remember correctly.
So
early
the
80s.
Mutt
Somewhere around there,
So
yeah.
so I'm gonna look up a picture of it because I just don't.
It's your
know
classic
Yeah, the
Vietnam War Jeep.
It's
very
aren't they a
angular.
little bit bigger? Aren't they a little bit bigger than the original?
Oh fuck yeah, by like 3
Yeah.
feet. Those World War II Jeeps are
Yeah.
really, really, really small.
So
like
I know I barely fit in them. Yeah.
Yeah.
So just thinking out loud, even it might be a bigger Jeep, it's still a Jeep. Let's use the
Yes.
quotation marks.
Yeah. Google it really quick. Check
Okay,
it out.
because that boggles my mind. So like, you know you're going from a World War II style Jeep to the Mutt, which I see right now. Okay, I see what you mean.
Yeah, they're a little bit bigger.
Same
They're a little
style
bit more.
grill.
Yeah,
Just a
yeah.
little bit lower to the ground, and they're easier to get in and out of and stuff.
And I can see the progression, the evolution to a Humvee like structure. I can see that with this right now.
Well, the whole concept of why the Humvee is so fucking wide, and I know you might know this, but for the viewers or the listeners that don't know this, is they made it so wide because they had a problem with Jeeps flipping a lot, right? It's a common issue, right? Now they said the Humvee was basically unflippable. Oh, it's fucking not. Trust me.
It's not. Yeah.
It's not. It's not. It's not that hard to flip a fucking Humvee. I've seen it, and it's oh my
That
god,
happened
it's so
when
fucked
I
up.
was working for the military. I didn't see it, but when I was working for the military, that happened during thetheir training.
Oh, it
program.
happens
Yeah.
every time you're out there. Every time you're out doing any kind of training, somebody's gonna flip a fucking Humvee. It's gonna happen, and because again, a lot of people even in the military think that it's not flippable because it's so wide. Oh no, it just yeah, it's fucking irritating. So no, I do not like the Humvee. It's a piece of shit.
So
It's funny
the
because
fucking-
even
yeah.
just quickly, even the replacement, the MRAPs, they flip a lot too. My buddy was in one in Afghanistan, almost broke his arm because it fucking fell off a road. Like
Well, they're very top heavy. That's
Yeah.
the problem.
they have the simulators and stuff for them, everything too. Or like
Yep.
it's
Yeah.
like
The rollover drill.
the full
yeah, we
mammal
had to go-
cans and shit. Yeah, like
Yeah, we had to do that. We had to do that shit. And it's fucking god.
so when did they retire the Humvee officially?
They didn't.
So but you're saying MRAPs. MRAPs is the MRAPs the
Mine-resistant
next
vehicles.
evolution?
MRAP, mine resistant anti tank, I'm sorry, mine resistant. What the fuck does God mine
I don't
resistant?
know. I just knew mine resistant.
When I
Miners-
was working for the military, they were talking about that replacing the Humvee.
Mine resistant, ambush protected, and they came out in South Africa, and that whole design because they have a V hull.
Yeah.
So if they hit an IED or a mine,
Rhodesians started doing that in the 70s.
Top Gear did a special on that when they launched it. When they launched, I remember that now. They launched that design. They were selling it for the civilian market, and Top Gear did a review on that vehicle.
With your McDonald's.
And that makes sense. Yeah, yes, it's that episode. Yeah, correct.
dude, MRAPs. Here's the thing with MRAPs, right?
but
they
if-
don't
but if
replace-
they haven't. Sorry, I think you were just about to answer my question. I was gonna say, did they replace Humvees, or are they just
Not
an
completely.
added addition to more vehicles?
They're an addition, and they're usually only used in theater.
They were looking
Okay.
for a replacement. I know Jeep had a contract recently, but I don't think it went through.
Oh, God willing.
Because that was my next question. Is that Jeep? The whole point of me asking these questions was this question. So Jeep is from World War II to right before Vietnam. You have a rendition of the Mutt.
Jeep didn't
Like-
make Mutts, I'm pretty sure, but the idea of the Jeep lasts until the early 80s. You can say
Okay.
that. As like a
So-
4x4
so,
vehicle.
so early A's, and then you had the Mutt or half Mutt transitions, and then you went to full Humvees. Because that was my next question: was what's now that we're hitting the same ratio of year use that the Jeep had now with the Humvees. So that's why I was asking: is that are we? And no one knows until it actually happens, of course, but. Do you think they're going to go for like this next evolution of Humvee, or do you think it's
Well-
going to be like a complete rehaul? Let's just scrap it and throw it off to the side and make something else.
They just surplused like 10,000 vehicles in the last 3 or 4 years. And most of them have off-road titles, so it's very hard to get them.
You can
with
buy
ones.
them. You can buy them off that
There's
surplus government site for like $5,000.
There was a
the old
huge-
'90s like wood wood camo ones. Yeah.
Pre that, it was incredibly hard to find a Humvee, and they were like, if you could get one as a civilian with like a title, which is next to impossible, they were like $50,000 vehicles. And then like overnight, fucking the market gets flooded with everything, and like they're worthless now. But now they're starting to creep up again, but they did this thing where they basically all have salvage titles or off-road titles. So it's like next to impossible to get them on the road.
But they take all the armor plating off, and they left all of them in Afghanistan. So it's like, why the fuck?
You could still buy it though.
You could buy an 1115 with the armor still on it.
Really? I thought you needed like
Yeah.
a licensing or a permit for that.
Got a credit card? No.
God damn it! Am I doing that tonight? Okay, fine.
Yeah, you got $15,000 or no, the up armor. Yeah, they're like 20, 30 grand.
They're always worth a lot. Yeah.
Dude, you can buy anything with plastic. It's okay.
Yeah.
But they're also hunks of shit. They're not fucking. Oh my god.
That's
Yeah.
why I love Generation Kill, because what does it start out with? They're fixing the Humvee. Like, you know,
Yep.
like, why do I got to spend my own fucking money to make this thing work? Like, it's just, that was 2003, 20 years ago.
They're so bad, and those guys didn't even have AC. Those guys are just rolling with the fucking windows down.
That's why they call him the Iceman.
Yeah.
I know, Mike, you obviously were in them a lot. I've only ridden them a few times when I worked for the military. It was not fun every time we rode them.
They're very loud, too.
Tainted love.
They're really loud.
Yeah.
Yep, they're very loud. They're very fucking just not a comfortable fucking ride.
It was requirement that you had to wear your helmet if you were going to be in it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Any military vehicle,
Yeah.
you have to wear your
But
helmet.
like we would be, and because I was like, oh, that's funny. But then when we were in it, like my head was bang, 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 like hitting against hard steel and shit. And I'm just like,
Because their shocks are terrible and they're not made for comfort.
yeah.
If you ever take a ride in a tank while it's riding, you're inside of it, you realize really quickly why they made a tanker's helmet.
Because it's
it's
just
like-
solid steel everywhere.
And why it's
Why
awesome
the fuck
to
did the
wear one.
Germans wear them though?
Well, they had berets, and then they did wear their hats.
That
in
didn't
and
last
stuff,
long.
but No,
That didn't last
It
long.
is very strange. The Brits also didn't really wear tank. They had an armored helmet the commanders would wear, but yeah, I mean, fucking.
Yeah, the British wore berets. Yeah,
The Italians had fucking tanker helmets. The Russians had tanker helmets. The Americans had
Yep.
tanker helmets. Like, but fucking
the Italians had tanker helmets.
yeah, really. The Japanese had tanker helmets, but the Brits and the
Yep.
Germans, I guess, just have hard heads. Or
I guess so.
whatever.
I don't know what.
Maybe that's why
but
the,
anyway.
the guy in the Cromwell fucking didn't see the Panther barrel, because he's had a concussion in Band of Brothers.
Oh, the tiger. It was a tiger.
Oh, that's
Mind
right.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Fucking-
the
yeah.
big boy.
Orders of no unnecessary destruction of property.
Are you staying or going?
Again,
Ugh.
now we come full circle back to the Brits.
All right.
There
It's
we go.
annoying.
Yeah.
What movie are we talking about again? Oh yeah,
Yeah, I was gonna say we gotta come
Taguchi
back.
Eye.
We gotta come back. Taguchi Eye moments.
So we were talking about the fucking Humvees and how that's really dumb and like, again, if you're going to a mine like that and there's that many guys there and you've got what do they have, a team of 8,
yeah.
including the Terp? Yeah, maybe just fucking
Excel
do
out.
some observation first.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe just sit there and get a little lay of the land and figure out, oh, there's fucking 30 guys here.
Huh.
Okay.
All right,
Oh.
hey, AC 130, you read me? Roger, let's go. Just like
Well, I mean,
done.
Roger.
Yeah, Roger.
Oh god.
Thank
But
you,
I mean,
Mike.
just there were so
Thank
many
you.
fucking.
I was hoping.
There were so many.
I was hoping you'd get that.
I
reference.
thought that
Yeah.
immediately.
No, I did. There's just so many fucking tactical blunders and tropes in this fucking thing. Like you can really tell somebody that has absolutely no idea. Like you said at the earlier part of this podcast, absolutely zero fucking clue how things work, and does not listen to those who do know how it works,
Right.
or refuse to, because I'm the director. I know everything. You
Or-
just do what I asked you to do.
Or I'm the cinematographer, or I'm like we don't know who it could possibly be. I'm not
But
defending Guy
no,
Richie.
it all
I'm just
falls
saying,
on the
like, it
upper
all
management, though.
Yeah.
Yep. And
Just-
that's the problem.
Except
It's
Paul
like-
Gross. Paul Gross is responsible for everything Paul Gross puts out. So yeah. Go ahead, Brian.
The other thing about vehicles that pissed me off is they turn around from the ambush, right? They're headed back to base, and they have their lights on at night. as they're driving back to base. Like, what the fuck? What?
They gotta
Put
see
your
Brian.
knives
No,
on.
I didn't pick up on
Yeah,
that.
they have their fucking lights on, and it's like,
Habibi, get the
what
mortar.
are you? What, yeah, literally. Like, You hear these stories from Ukraine and everywhere else where it's just like, hit my fucking vehicle. If you can't stop, don't turn your lights on. Don't do shit. Fuck it. Like, and then it's just like, okay, we're going back to base. High beams. Like, no.
No,
Oh.
I also didn't see any night vision in this movie.
Yeah, same. Well, they're in Spain, so it's
Nothing.
probably illegal. So
That's
fucking-
why they had to use the headlights. Like, Guy Richie, we can't drive, we can't see shit. Well, turn the headlights on. I don't
And-
give a shit.
And the fake mountains in the beginning when they were at the airfield. That was.
Oh, I don't even want to talk about those extras on that airfield. Oh my god,
Yeah. Yep.
Like, it was horrid.
Sure those weren't
Oh
CGI
my
people?
God. Yeah, just
They're marching in formation.
Yeah.
There's
It's
this
like
one particular dude who looks like a British sergeant in 1870, just walking with this strut like this. It's just
Swagger
like,
stick?
oh my god.
That's the Zulu battalion arriving.
Yeah.
What's up with the...
want to see my shillelagh?
Yeah.
I guess it's just personal taste for the director, Guy Ritchie, but I was kind of the movie starts with a horse with no name playing for some reason.
Yeah.
I'm like,
I've been through the desert on a horse with no
yeah,
name.
it's like maybe that's some kind of analogy or something, but yeah, then it just stops after it says March 2018.
Well, I was waiting for it to be radio transition.
Yeah, that's what I thought it was going to be, but then it just
Yeah,
stops.
yeah,
And I'm like,
yeah,
oh,
yeah,
okay.
yeah.
I guess he just likes that song. Whatever.
Yeah, is
Also, that
what's the cheapest
what's the cheapest real song we can
1970s?
get?
Yeah.
yeah. We'll pay America $2,000 for their royalties.
What's the
and
We need an
cheapest
then
American
fuck
song
off.
for an American movie from 60 years ago. So it's
Yeah.
going to work out. Yes.
I guess this is Vietnam or something. But what was I gonna say? That by the way, that opening scene, which was very reminiscent of something like The Hurt Locker, where you have your big opening scene that ends in a big explosion.
Linear?
Yeah, that was very underwhelming for me. I was like,
Also,
yeah.
the little tiny fireball. It's like if that was a V-bid, everybody there would have been toast.
right, yeah.
Yeah.
Fucking everybody there would have been
Right.
toast. I mean,
But that was where I was just like, and then after it happened, it cuts to the title. I'm like, oh, that was really underwhelming. Right? Yeah, I was like, that was not a good opening scene.
Well, as we've come full circle, I'll talk about this now. Nate had mentioned it earlier with the dialogue. I liked the dialogue, but I didn't
Me
like
too.
the delivery. I felt like it was very forced. Like these guys were trying to talk military guys, and they knew what to say, but they just didn't have that. Like if I was on set, I'd be like, listen,
I think
close-
I said something like that. Yeah.
close your eyes and you're on Xbox Live and you're giving your friend shit. Because they're giving each other shit and stuff, but it's like, oh, yes, that is and it feels forced. It doesn't feel organic. And they're trying
you
to make
didn't
it organic.
even buy me dinner first.
Wow, I can't believe when anybody here that's played a video game or anything that interacts with their friends knows. It's like, Nate, you're such a fucking
One thing I didn't like.
That's gonna be a long ass bleep, but yes, I will keep that in there. Yes, but I will be giving you a big ass bleep for that
Good.
one.
But you
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like it's forced.
Jesus Christ, that was 2006 all over again.
This is how military guys talk, and they
Yes.
tried, but it's just
Buy me
forced.
dinner. Now take off my pants. Yeah, I agree,
Yes.
and I think
That
I did
pleases
men-
me.
Yeah, that pleases me. I think I did.
I would like
think,
to change
I,
positions now.
I think almost.
It was very wooden. Yeah, the delivery was very wooden. The writing was not terrible though. Like
but the
it wasn't.
the dialogue's good. Like the dialogue is good in this movie.
Again, I knew what they were going for, and that's why it was like I forgave a lot of shit as I was watching. So, but it fell short. But again, I like the writing. So the dialogue was it, and it's not. I don't think it's the actor's fault. It might be. Who knows?
Maybe
but
it
just
was
fucking-
like take 17, and by that time you're just like, oh,
right there. You go. There you
yes,
go. Like
Nathan.
okay.
Haha, I am gay. Like it just you lose the spark.
The best
and
one we
it's
got. Move on.
Yes, you are indeed.
like
Were you gonna say something, Nate?
Making my job harder, please.
I love it.
no, Mr. Man in Control.
Well, yes, Gandhi did.
Yeah.
Really, I didn't know that. Very interesting.
Wow.
Very
Facts.
interesting.
Mike A, go.
Oh,
You had your hand up before me.
okay. One thing, and just going back to directing and style and stuff like that. One thing I didn't like that it didn't need to be there at all. I mean, it was just I don't know why they chose to do this, but like at the opening scene, it's very much so like every time it shows somebody, there's like a little title that comes up of who they are, such and such staff sergeant or whatever like that. And then also there's a couple like things that they say. One part where he says IDF and it says what the acronym is, and it's like this doesn't need to be here. Like what I don't understand what this is all about.
I will say that is a Guy Richie flavor where he's done it in so much more creative ways than that.
Yep.
And I think again this comes down to, can we make this without
I get it, Guy Richie
assets, I guess. I mean, like, I'm only defending it and saying that that's what his flavor is. Do I agree with you? Yes,
right.
I do.
Well, I mean, even so, like I remember in Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels, there's a part where some guy in a bar is speaking, and he's using some weird slang, and then there's like translation to what he's saying or something, and it's like I don't know. Like, I mean, I guess if you want, it's a personal thing though. It's like I hate that sort of thing. It just seems kind of arrogant to me, as like a filmmaker. So I think maybe it's that sort of thing that they're doing here, where it's like, IDF. Well, it's like everyone knows what an IDF is, dude. Like you don't need to have that spelled out. I don't care who Staff Sergeant blah 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 is because he gets killed in 2 minutes. It doesn't matter. That's just a weird choice. It didn't have anything to do with the movie. Like you could have taken that out and it would not have changed the film at all.
You like Dags?
Yep.
I think it's just
you like
something
Dags?
to
I
do.
like Dags.
With that, they constantly say their names. Like, you don't do that. In the military, you know who you're fucking... Unless you want to get their attention, you say their name once, and then you don't have to say it every other time. They just do that. They do that in a lot of films, too, just to like, oh, here's what this character's name is. You better remember this. Yeah. It's like, well, that guy's going to get fucking smoked, within the first hour.
I only remember Tomcat. That's the only name I remember from the whole movie.
He likes ass, apparently. So
Jake Gyllenhaal has a weird thing in this. It's a character thing where he like gives people like a double name. He'll say like Jack or something like that.
Chow
It's time for Chow Chow. It's like I guess that's his character. I don't have a problem with that. It's just an interesting observation.
I want to meet my good friend Fuck.
Is it time for Bang Bang? Yeah.
For Bang Bang.
Yeah.
Oh
Time
God,
for Bang
Bang
Bang,
Bang
fuck,
now?
fuck.
that would be Birch's name. Hey, Bang Bang.
Yeah. I'm actually the only one sitting here presently that's done one.
yeah,
It
yeah.
fucking sucks.
I asked you. I said, "Would you do it again?" You were like, "Fuck no."
No, that was miserable.
Let's do Bang Bang where we do Vietnamese Afghan.
Oh God.
Oh,
Oof.
Bami's followed by UNAID.
Recover for
Barbecue IHOP? Oh, God.
I love
yeah.
Louis' reaction.
That would just kill me and you, Birch. Jesus.
Take months to
Oh,
recover.
it'd be fucked.
Yeah.
It'd be completely, just done.
oh
But
like-
yeah, I mean, this fucking film, it's like, again, it's got the entertainment factor, and it's cookie cutter. You can predict, like we can predict every fucking thing except for him not getting captured.
yes.
That's the one thing that
one
I was
thing
wrong
I was
on.
not ready for. Yeah.
Yep. I was like, oh, fuck, here we go. He's going to get tortured. It's going to be one of those. I'm like, God damn, there's over an hour left. Jesus, Proust, like, here we go. But then it was like, okay, badass jumps up with an AK, just smokes all these fucks.
In slow motion, and then has to pull out the pistol because the guy's rifle's jammed in the car. And hey,
The
guess what?
M9A1, yeah.
Fucking bang! Like I'm like fucking Christ.
I'm glad they
You
use
had-
an M9A1.
You
That's
had
pretty cool.
me. You broke the tropes, and then you went back. It's like, fuck.
Well, and also okay, so a little detail that I noticed too is he gives Ahmed the M9A1, and after he gets done shooting, the hammer's gonna be back. It's gonna be cocked and loaded. He just throws it in his vest. It's like there's a fucking decocker
Bam.
in that bitch. Like, come on.
That
Shoots his
and when
nipple
he's
off.
like, "Are you ready?" And he's like, "Yeah," and I'm like, "That thing should be loaded and ready."
Oh, fuck yeah.
anyway. Like,
Fuck yeah.
But it's airsoft, so, you know.
I know. It did.
And then I love it. I love it when he's like,
I will say they did look good,
the AKs looked shitty, but the M4s
but
looked
we've
okay.
seen worse.
Yeah.
We've seen so much worse.
I love it when he goes, is your gun up? And he goes, and
Yeah,
the safety's on. He
that's
pulls it. He just short strokes it, guns up.
Yeah, that's
I'm like, oh,
yeah,
God,
yeah,
yes.
yeah.
Yes, of course.
Speaking of guns, why don't we launch an IMF?
Yeah, let's do that.
It's very short, and then
I
we
will
can go
say-
into closers.
Oh, I will say one thing before we get there. I think my favorite thing in this film was the counter for the days when he's trying to get the visa. Because I heard so many stories.
Oh,
Yes.
yes. Can we talk about that really quick?
I was gonna talk about that at the end, but let's go into it now.
Yeah,
It's fine.
because I heard so many stories, unfortunately, when everything was going bad in August of 01, where like these vets that knew interpreters, they were on the phone 24/7 talking to the government and like trying to get their friends out. And there was one guy that like he literally just quit his job, and for like a month he was on the phone in August, like calling up like, "Hey, I got a family that needs this, and I got a guy," and like using their all connections to get
They don't
people
give a
out
shit.
and stuff. And
They don't give a
Yeah.
shit. I did that with a couple of my interpreters, who everything did work out in the end for most of them. But no, I spent fucking, I don't know how many days on the phone, emailing, on fucking Skype chats, on this, trying to get these guys out. And it was the same. That's why when they were going through that whole like process of the days, I'm like, yep, 100%. And it was, I was talking to the guys. They would disappear for like fucking 3 months. One disappeared for 3 years. And I was like, well, he's fucking dead. And then he just randomly hits me up one day because I gave up. I'm like, I can't fucking do anything. Like they're like, well, like they said in the thing, they're like, well, we need to have his name and all of his info. I'm like, I can't get it. Like, here's his name. Here's what I know, blah, blah, blah. And they're like, well, does he? And then one of the guys sent me his ID cards and everything that we issued him and shit. He kept all that. They're like, no, we need it. We need this. Okay, let me transfer you. And I'm like, fuck you. And so that really resonated with me like that because and they didn't even save my life. Like, they wasn't that like visceral, but I cared about them enough to where I was like, that's complete bullshit. And the one guy, and then I'll let you go, Nate. The one guy that ended up, he's here now. He's married. He's got a kid. He's doing great. It's so fucking cool to be able to know that he's safe and his family's safe. His family came here, and when came time for him to go, he was actually the interpreter. They said, nope, your visa's been denied because you associate with these certain people in Sadr City, where he fucking lived. He's like, of course I have to associate with them. I have to go out of my house to get food. I'm going to run into these fucking militia guys. I have to talk to them to tell them to fuck off or pay them, or else I can't live. Of course I talked to them. They're like, nope, we can't do that. So his entire family was in Texas, and he was stuck in Iraq. And that's when he disappeared for 3 years. He went down south and worked at the oil fields. And then he hit me up, and I was like, okay, you're still alive? Fuck. So we started the process again. It went nowhere, but then he eventually, I think he found somebody from a unit previous or after me that was more well-connected and actually was able to get his visa, and then he is here now. So, but no, they don't give a fuck. And that's one of the many reasons that I do not support any kind of fucking war anymore. One of the very many is because we fucked so many people. We did it in Vietnam too with the Hmong. We really did. Like, that's a whole topic I could ramble on about for fucking hours. But we did the same thing. We made promises and we fucking reneged on them. We fucking just totally ignored that and said, nope, tough shit. We got you into this situation. You helped us. We could have done it without you. But fuckity bye. Good luck. Here's a $20 bill. Have a good time. And that part of this movie, I really did appreciate that whole message, that sentiment, because that's really never talked about in movies or even in just in general, like in the news. Like, because when Iraq happened, the same shit happened. Here's the thing too: the same shit happened with me, all the emotions and shit, in 2012. That happened with the guys in 2021 that were in Afghanistan. Of like, well, that was so worth my fucking time. Because we did the same shit in Iraq. It just didn't get a lot of news coverage. They tried to cover it up. We left the same amount of shit in Iraq as we did in Afghanistan. And that never got talked about. People got killed because ISIS took over immediately. A lot of guys that I was with got killed. A lot of people that I know that are in Afghanistan, they know guys that are now dead and their whole family's dead. And it's like, what the fuck was that for? And it's a very personal and very, very irritating, visceral thing for me. And a lot of other people that experienced that, and it fucking sucks, but I'm glad it was shown in this film of how so many people got fucked over by us, as usual. So, rant over.
I mean, I'm going to share all those sentiments as well. Not on a personal level like you, of course, but in terms of showcasing that story and that whole entire, like, I think very well, again, I'm going to say it for like probably the fourth time now, Guy Richie does montage of time very well.
Yes.
And I think it is, and then you add Jake Gyllenhaal throwing in, I'm struggling with depression, struggling with guilt, struggling with debt, a debt I owe. Like, you add all that to combined, and I think you have a very, very accurate, maybe slightly dramatized, but very
think so.
accurate. I was just gonna say, like, with the screaming and the drunk, I know that would happen. I'm just saying.
And then not being able to sleep because it's on your mind constantly.
Like for the plot
Yep.
pusher point of that. If you're asking me, the frustration, the screaming, the getting drunk, fuck you, 100% real. And that's what I was gonna say, was that I 100% love this whole entire summarization of the effort of a lot of people who even I know who are in Afghanistan, who suffer, who have had that guilt of not being able to help the guys who helped them. Not the same life debt as this movie portrays,
Right.
but the obligation that we promised and that was pulled out from under all these guys. And I think it is a very very powerful and very true, unfortunate truth of that situation. And I think this is the one thing that pulls this movie from the dregs of another Afghan war film to being higher on my pedestal of this conflict and this situation and this topic. I think it's very well done in that sense of that topic, not the movie as a whole, but that topic alone, really well done. And I thoroughly, it really did elevate it in that level with that topic. So with that, are you guys good to go with IMFDB? Does anyone else want to comment anything? Okay.
Yeah, it was probably the best part of the second half of the film.
Yeah.
I was pleasantly surprised when it started taking that route. I was like, okay, this is actually going to do something interesting.
It's going to do something different.
Right, yeah. I was like, it's better than them, tied to chairs sitting in front of the villain.
100% agreed. Yep.
Here we are in Santa Clara, California, with no roads paved, and like, it's not Spain, it's California. So, the Covenant.
I did like the very end with that was the only title sequence of this movie that I think I really liked.
Where it says the meeting of
the name, the bond. Like, I did like that. That was.
I was literally gonna look up the actual definition so I could say it on here, and then they did it, and I was like, "Thank you." M9A3, yeah, that's right.
M9A3 for Beretta.
Oh yeah.
I believe this actor's from Iraq too.
I couldn't comment on his interpreter.
Oh, he could be from anywhere. Yeah, he could be from anywhere.
Dar Salim, that's his name.
I looked him up. I believe he's from Iraq.
He should know Pashtun, I guess. But they did say he spoke 4 languages. Oh, I've never seen what. Oh, I've never seen this gun before.
What is this?
I don't know.
Glock 19 for people who aren't looking at it.
That's the Australian pistol, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. Tokarev T-33.
Very accurate. Yep.
Yeah.
Why they make airsoft versions of all these guns?
I did like the SSH-68s that they used.
That was
ANA
cool.
Guys.
Yeah, that was nice.
They should have had Romanian M7380s as well, but I don't know. I'm a fucking helmet nerd.
So you see some guy with an M17 on? No.
Spray and paint those orange barrels black.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Look at those fast bumps.
I fucking hate those helmets. On operators, I guess they need it for a reason, but everybody wants to be an operator and they get that. I'm like,
those helmets that go like that.
They look derpy without optics.
Well, they look derpy with the lily pad on the front. I like the
They're
older
made
style,
for wearing fucking headsets.
Yeah.
That's the only reason they're cut out.
It's a bitch 2000 without the ears, basically. Like,
correct. Yeah, it's what it is. And all these fucking wannabe...
The guys that
bleep that out.
The guys that need to use them are great to use them. But yeah, I know what you mean.
Correct.
It's a very tropey thing. It's like a Fallschirmjäger helmet. It's like, they're fucking cool for Fallschirmjägers. Like,
they're purpose-built equipment.
Like, would I want to own a used one, like a ballistic one in Afghanistan? Yeah. Would I wear it because I'm no? Like, making your life harder, Nate.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Hey, I just caught myself, Brian. I was nice.
This time.
I'll work it out. I'll make it work. It's fine.
Yeah, Mark 18. I see these AR variants. I'm fucking.
There's just that funny meme with the guy throwing it off the ship. Didn't sign for it.
How is that a type? Oh, it's a Type 56 without the bayonet lug.
The later style.
Yeah.
Stupid.
That airsoft like yellow wood.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. The
Red.
fucking orange.
It
Yeah.
looks like VFC because I think they use gas blowback at least to like kind of get close to
Some of them
reciprocating actions.
seem
But
to do. They did one slow mo scene with shells ejecting, and the shells were CG.
You,
yeah,
Of
yeah.
on the
course.
bridge,
Okay.
you could definitely see it because they like go
Yeah.
down, and it's like, what is an AR like? You
It's
know,
the added motion blur. Yeah.
there's a bass block there, but oh, that's right, you're stupid. Yeah.
God, that's a dream. If I were to find that,
I
I'd just
know,
be
right?
like, these are mine now.
Cue the fucking like,
And this trailer is now mine.
or those guys in Syria that found during the war the STG container.
Oh,
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
Good luck getting ammo.
They do move in herds.
I love these. Yes.
Yeah, the fucking
PM90.
Mm.
You like that? You like that Romanian dong abomination?
It looks cool. I don't want to shoot one, but they're very interesting looking.
Those
That-
wire stocks suck.
Oh yeah.
I have a Tantal, and it came with a wire stock.
Oh, they
And even in a
suck.
5.45, they suck. And I can't imagine on a
But
3.9.
Tantals have
Fuck
really
that.
special retarded stocks though. Like,
Oh yeah, I put a Bulgarian plum set
Yeah.
on mine. I couldn't handle that fucking thing
I think
anymore.
the Tantal is the worst. Like 74 variant.
Yes, I like taking a coat hanger and shoving it into my shoulder blade and making it punch me like repeatedly.
Okay, I was actually so when up until this point in the movie, I wasn't really catching on that it was all digital gunfire and shit like that. And I was like, oh, I love some 50 cal in the movie and stuff like that. Then when this came up, it was like, and I'm like, what the fuck? It's not.
Here's the thing: you can get a 50 to fire that fast.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen it. Really hard to control when it's that.
But it
fire
was
rate,
fake
though.
as fuck. Like, I mean, the muzzle flash and
Oh,
everything.
oh,
Yeah,
God.
like the thing's not rattling like it should.
The barrel's not
Right?
reciprocating.
Yeah,
it's,
I was
it's
just like,
not
that's a
good.
disappointment, Brian.
Yeah, it's a fucking.
Well, Nate, scroll down. I want to ask Birch a question. I think that's the wrong 50 cal.
Oh.
That's the newer version with the new quick release barrel that came out like 2020.
Oh yeah.
Oh fuck yeah! I never used those, but yeah, you're right.
It's the only changes they've ever made to the gun in 100 years.
That's,
is the-
Bullshit!
better.
Bullshit! There was one other one. Do you know what it is?
Actually, I don't.
They added a safety.
Oh, interesting. Oh, for the butterfly.
Yeah, it's on the fucking the knob in the back. There's a little hook.
So
Oh,
So you
interesting.
twist the knob and the hook will hold the trigger.
Oh, I think I've seen that before. Yeah.
Yep. And but we never use this. We just use an empty piece of brass.
yeah,
Oh, I think this is gonna date me, but the old Funker videos, like the combat ones, I think I've
Yeah.
seen the brass in the back.
Well, yeah, because again, really quick, Nate, instead of
yeah.
having to twist that, all you do is go ching, and it's done.
Yeah, it makes
it's
sense.
gone.
Huh.
So
It's so
that's,
easy.
So that's really funny that the 50 didn't have a safety, but the 1910 Maxim has a safety.
Well, 1919 doesn't have a safety.
The 1919 doesn't have a safety. I'm saying the 1910 like Russian Maxim has a safety.
Yeah, well, that's a Maxim though.
Yeah, but the
It's not a Browning.
Russians,
Yeah.
Yeah.
the Russians put a fucking safety.
See, Americans don't need safeties because their safety's here, okay?
I was gonna say my
The
safety's here,
Russians?
sir. Yeah,
The Russians?
Find the
What
Soviets.
the fuck?
Well, actually, technically, the Russian Empire, because 1910 is before the Bolshevik Revolution, all this other bullshit, history, blah blah blah.
I just gave
but
you a
I'm
hell
gonna
of a
be- I'm gonna
fucking.
do,
I just gave you a hell of a
actually.
reference, and you just whooshed it.
What are you talking about then?
The Russians?
I don't know what that means.
What the fuck?
Oh fuck!
Michael.
so
My bad.
yeah.
missed it.
My
Yeah,
bad.
go ahead,
my
Mike.
bad. My bad.
So
my bad.
scroll
my
up.
Good quote.
So
Good quote.
Brian, you say that this type of this type of M2 came out in 2020.
Yeah, or around that time. It's
Okay,
it's
so
very recent.
that means this is anachronistic then, because it says 2018.
Exactly. Yeah. No,
Yep.
it's very recent and was toward the end of the war. I mean, I'd have to really look it up. It could have been 18, but let's talk realistically. How many fucking 50 cals were in country of the old style? You know. So
Yeah,
it's just
exactly.
like-
Yep.
but that is something interesting, and probably because they brought because they make airsoft 50s, and like here's the new model of the airsoft 50, and it's the new model of the 50 because that's
Looks
what
good to
people
me.
want.
Tell the actor to get
so-
up there and do this. That looks good enough.
Shake
Yeah.
it.
Just-
Shake
That's
it out of sync with the fucking rapid
right.
fire rate.
And I'm just thinking about movie when that was going on, because I was just like, I'm just thinking about back to the movie Mosul, where they have these with all of the Soviet heavy machine guns on there, and just like and it just feels like so powerful. And then like this movie, it just feels like a wet fart when it shoots.
They got the ZB on there, like the Czech machine gun, and like that thing is like, even for 8mm, like fucking it rocks the shit out of stuff.
Right. So I was anticipating some earth shattering 50 cal action, and I didn't.
Well, also he's just laying on it.
Yeah,
it's
he's not firing in
again.
bursts.
You don't shoot a fucking machine gun like that, like in any capacity.
Let's say shoot an airsoft gun, but
sure,
exactly. Yeah, you
just press a button and the thing goes. You know. So that's the Covenant.
I think we have reached our final thoughts. Who wants to go first?
I guess I'll go first. Yeah, like I say, I was, there was a lot of things in it that I thought were well done. It did keep me interested, although I was thinking the whole time, like, oh my God, is a trope about to happen? And so I was glad when they didn't happen, although I did catch some of them. I totally knew on that dam that it was going to be right at the last minute that they were going to get saved. It's like that was like, I see it coming. I know it's going to happen.
The slow motion staring at the camera didn't give it away.
Well, that's what I'm saying, dude. I was just like, obvious shit like that, So it's like that sort of thing. I'm just kind of like, when that creeps up. But actors were really good. So. I don't know. Probably a 5 out of 10. That's not bad. That's not bad. What?
I don't think I've heard you go over a 7 in like 8 months now.
What?
The really good ones were like a 7. I'm not saying you should give it higher. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just like, I'm waiting for you to be like 7 again, and you're like a 5.
Whatever, dude. Like, it was entertaining, but it was not like, oh my God, I love this movie. I was just like, yeah, it was good. It was all right. 5.
Normally your wet fart reviews are like a 1. So like, I'll just
interject here quickly, Nate. You asked that wrong. Michael, what's a 10 in your book?
What's a 10?
Waltz of fucking Bashir.
Waltz with Bashir, Downfall, Generation Kill, The Pacific. Band of Brothers is probably like a 8.
Wow, you just gave away Downfall's rating. How could you?
You can edit this out, dude.
Maybe it's going to go down in 6 months. There you go.
I think there are some favorite. Flags of Our Fathers is a 10 for me.
It's definitely not one of those.
What?
Oh, you don't like that movie?
That movie's a piece of fucking shit. I hate that movie.
Goodbye,
That
Nate.
movie's terrible.
Hey, shut up, both of you. Hold it for 4 months when we get to like.
Maybe it's changed. I haven't seen it in 15 years, but that movie's crap.
I don't like you anymore, Nate.
That movie does make me. That movie does make me cry. I agree with Michael.
Over.
The ending, the platoon swims.
Letters
that's
to
great.
Iwo Jima is so much better.
Letters to Iwo Jima is great.
That movie is overrated. But yes, it is good.
You're overrated.
No, people just say, I would ask them that. Why is Letters from Iwo Jima so fucking good? Because it shows the Japanese side. That's not why it's good, okay? Don't fucking do that.
Did I say that was the reason
no,
why
but
it
I'm
was
anticipating it. Never mind. Okay.
So, Mike B, what did you think about Take GI?
Take GI was
continued.
not bad.
There's a bleep in there somewhere. But...
Yeah, you'll find it.
Yeah.
Okay, so I need to pass this off to somebody.
Sorry.
It's not gonna be Nate.
Yeah.
No, it is gonna be Nate. Nate, what are your thoughts on this movie?
God damn it. Okay. I guess I deserve that.
You opened Pandora's shit box.
I
This
did.
Is all on
Well,
you.
I mean,
Yeah.
like, this is what I do. I poke him until I get an emotion out of him. So, I mean, like, I seem to be the biggest person on the bandwagon for this film, I think, tonight. I mean, again, normally when a film does really well in cinematography and editing and kind of breaks the mold in how to deliver a subject or deliver a feeling or whatever, mainly that is just a little outside the mold of what we normally see with these types of with the films that we obviously review, which are war films. I think it does a really good job in very specific subjects, micro subjects of the actual subject matter as a whole. However, there are a lot of things that I don't like about it. I don't like the combat. I think it's cheap, really, really, really shortcutty. And I think a lot of it just comes down to exactly what Brian said, which is it's coming right off of Rust and the wanting to prove that they can do it just the same and just as good without having the dangerous metal object on set. That, if we want to ever talk about that subject, that's a whole other subject entirely. And I think we all agree with that subject on because of our interests and what we actually do and all that kind of stuff. So to me, staying away from that, I think this movie does a really good job for about 50% of it and really shitty for the rest. And it's not for, I don't know who could really to blame, but I think it comes out as a, I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10 Screaming Mel Gibsons. I wish I could give it more, but you know the combat just for me and the story and the dynamics are pushing the story with the combat are just really, really, really lazy or cheap or whatever or out of nowhere, but not out of nowhere in a good way. So I think that's what brings it down. But to wrap it up, Jake Gyllenhaal, awesome. I can't remember his name, but the interpreter guy is really good. And I think Guy Ritchie's filmmaking with what he does really good jobs with is really great. But then there's the other aspect, which just sucks. So 6 out of 10, I think, for me tonight.
All right. Yeah, I've pretty much said everything negative about it and positive, and so have you guys. The only thing that I liked about it really the most is, like I said earlier, the drawing attention to how badly we fucked those guys over and their families. And yeah, it was very relatable, and again, good acting, I thought. Even though some of the delivery was wooden, maybe again take 17, or maybe the director's like, nah, that's too, whatever, pull it back a bit. Fuck, who knows? But yeah, I mean, overall, fucking, it's just a super predictable action, suspense, thriller kind of drama, all mixed in one. Doesn't really know what it wants to be. Could have been a hell of a lot better. Also could have been a little worse. So I'll give it that. But I'm going to go with what Nate did, but I'm going to give it a little bit extra bump just because of the whole interpreter thing and the way that was handled. So 6.2 out of 10.
Let's just read what I said earlier. It's a movie in 2 parts, and they don't get both parts really well done. There's parts of each that are good and that are definitely, good filmmaking. But other than that, it's just it attempts too much and it fails. And this is a common problem we see. It's like Kiss, keep it simple, stupid. You shouldn't have this like whole fucking Machiavellian plot. Like, do you want to do a movie about interpreters like getting fucked over, or do you want to do a movie about like special forces guys working with interpreters? Don't do both, because this is what happens. And on top of that, this film shows that you can't do gunplay without guns. Like, we filmed a movie after Rust with real firearms, with real actors. And the only problem we had is that the 80-year-old Nazi wonder weapon didn't fucking work, because it's an 80-year-old Nazi wonder weapon. Like,
it worked good.
So,
it worked enough.
Yeah, but like, it's just, I don't know. It's more of an experiment than anything else, and it fails.
Here's
And
the thing, yeah, like
there's
imagine Reveille, but with fucking digital gunshots.
oh
yeah.
God, it would be unwatchable.
Yeah.
Like fucking
When those guns go off, holy fuck.
yeah. Even all our fucking cameramen and shit were saying, "Oh my God, the wave that hits you," and they were like 10 feet away from one of the shooting sequences, and it's like that's like 3 rifles and a G41. Like, that's not everything. And a BFOG MP40. If we get a real MP40, people will be like, "Holy shit!" But no, it's I don't know. They really troped up this movie. They really hyped it up and like made it into this thing, and then released it, and it was kind of like a wet fart. And watching it, I was expecting something much different, but I got this. That being said, there was a really good attempt made here, and I don't fault the casting. I think the actors were really well, and they were good for the roles they were put in. And some other things went well, like the whole concussion sequences that were shot, and the whole like day counter for trying to get the interpreters' visas. But that being said and everything, I mean, I'd give it a 6 out of 10. It's the only reason is because there was a real attempt here, to try to make a movie. And I could see that. Like, I see the work and I see the dedication to some things, but just overall, this movie just got destroyed through egotistical tropes in a way, the whole gun thing, and just bad directing in post, I'd have to say. Like, it just didn't make sense. And the fact, like, we're going to shoot whatever scene we feel like we want to shoot today. Like, no, it doesn't work like that. Like, just Hollywood is made, or movies are made away for a reason, Stick with the fucking formula that works. I mean, sometimes you'll get lucky and you'll think outside the box and it works great. But there's people that have been like Guy Richie in the industry for 100 years, 130 years now. Like, everything's been tried. So just stick with what works and don't be an idiot. And when you get outside the bounds, sometimes not everything works. So
It might explain some of the wooden performances you guys keep talking about as well. If you don't have that prep,
Yeah.
or if you haven't thought about that scene, or you weren't preparing for that scene,
Yeah, properly
like-
prepared for it, gone through the context and the process of preparing for shit like that. Yeah.
yeah, it just looks pieced together at points. And as we know, the chaos behind the camera projects itself to in front of the camera. And if all your days are chaotic, then like nothing is gonna work. How is one day you're gonna shoot like a scene with all the actors and everyone's alive, and the next day it's like you in a fucking cart? Like, it just doesn't work. Think about Platoon. You lose real people as you go through the story. Like, that has to impact everything. So, but putting all the scores into the calculator will tell us if Guy Ritchie can actually make another good movie, which he probably can. We get a score of 5.8. So it falls into the watch category. Like, Thursday.
It's entertaining.
Matinee.
It's entertaining.
Yeah, Sixer and like
5.8
Yeah.
wet farts.
make sure that you got another movie to watch after it, but like it's just
Cleanse your fucking palate. Yeah.
exactly. Like, I would just say this, and then Nate, you can go. If you want to watch a good movie that's like this, that's well done with good gunplay, Lone Survivor, because
Yep.
it is what it is. It's great, and it touches on all these points of a bond between an Afghan and an American serviceman, and it's a true story. You can even go out and buy the book, which is just Navy SEAL propaganda. But like fucking, this is just a watered down version of that. With, by the way, let's staple on some fucking terps. Like, this doesn't work.
I was just gonna say, unlike most of my fives, or the fives that we've done on this pod, I feel like this one's actually worth a watch one time. I really do believe that.
Yeah, I don't regret watching it.
Yeah, it's not like I can name a lot of movies that we've done that I'll never watch again.
Hyena Road.
Yeah, it's like your favorite Hyena Road.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I won't watch this one again for sure.
Yeah.
I won't watch it.
I might
It's not worth-
watch it again, but it'd be like background for the shit I don't like, and then watch the art, the super art style, filmography portions, and then go back to fucking do what I want to do while guys are getting airsoft to death. So, but yeah, no, I liked it. Meh, 5.
Fun.
But yeah. Anyway, go ahead.
Thank you guys for your time as always, and we'll catch you next week.
Thanks for joining us. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to leave a rating. Otherwise, Mel Gibson won't stop screaming. If you like this content, make sure to check out our Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram pages. If you want to directly support our work, make sure to check out our Patreon. All these links are in the description below. Until the next time, Scuttlebutt out.